Welcome to the Educational Passport Foundation. With the support of Epf.Africa Youth Association and United Nations online volunteers, we have highlighted real stories regarding migration, education, poverty, and unemployment in the Republic of the Gambia. We invite you to watch and discover the current challenges and implications so that we can learn how to help solve them and support.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to EPF Interviews. I am Alaji.
And I'm Nabila. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Right. So to tell you a little bit about EPF, we are a registered non-profit charity foundation that aims to support underprivileged youth in the Gambia and Zimbabwe through education. Most young people in these countries lack one fundamental human right, which is to have access to quality education. This is mainly caused by poverty and lack of financial assistance. For that concern, EPF created an initiative to help these people achieve their dreams and prepare them for a better and productive future.
Today we have with us Ousman Jammeh. He's a student from the Republic of Gambia. He's majoring in development studies and he's minoring in human resource management. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to hearing about your experiences.
Thank you, Ousman, for joining.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
So just to start off, can you tell us a bit about yourself, your family, and maybe your educational background?
Thank you. My name is Ousman Jammeh. I'm from the Gambia, a country in West Africa. I'm a native of Jara West District, that is in Lower River region in the Gambia. I'm from a family of 5 brothers and 1 sister. I have my mom, and together with my stepmom, I lost my dad when I was young, and then we were brought up by our mothers. And from there, I started going to school around 2004. I did my primary school in Pakalindi Lower Basic School. From there, I proceeded to Pakalindi Upper Basic School. From there, I transferred to Combo, where I did my senior school in Maslow Senior Secondary School. Upon completion of my senior secondary school, it was my passion to study international relations, but it was not offered at the university at bachelor's level. So I had the course was being offered at Management Development Institute MBA, and I decided to apply. Ultimately, I got admission into Management Development Institute, where I studied diploma in diplomacy and international relations. Having done part of the semester, I then applied to the University of the Gambia and I got admitted there. I was doing the 2 courses simultaneously. Then upon completion of my diploma program at Management Development Institute, I proceeded with my studies at the university, but later it was put to a hold due to some financial constraint which was beyond my capacity to sponsor. So I had to defer the semester while I solicit for sponsors in order to facilitate my studies. I think that's just a brief about myself. I hope that do well.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does. Thank you for that introduction. It's nice to get to know you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how would you describe, if you had to describe the people of the Gambia in a few words, how would you describe them?
The people of Gambia are naturally friendly. They always want to share with the little that they have, regardless of how small it may be. So long they have it in their possession, they always wish to share with their neighbors, with their friends, with their family. I think that is the beauty of Gambians. Naturally, we are friendly. No matter how difficult things may be, you can still observe smiling faces on each and everyone.
Yeah, that's why we are called the smiling coast of Africa, right?
Certainly. Yeah, smiling coast of Africa. Naturally, Gambians are beautiful.
Right. So, how do you think poverty affects young people in the Gambia?
Poverty, I call it a disease. It affects people a lot, especially in the Gambia here, because if you look at the economic situation of Gambia, it doesn't pave that path for people to excel in life, and it doesn't also create that conducive environment where people could gain a better livelihood through income. Average Gambians live from hand to mouth. So based on that, it becomes very, very difficult for people to sponsor their children at higher institutions, especially institutions of such gratitude like University of the Gambia, Management Development Institute, and GTTI, Gambia College. It's too costly to sponsor education at those sectors. So imagine someone living from March. It's going to be very, very difficult or almost impossible for that individual to sponsor his or her child to further his or her education at tertiary level. So I think basically this is one of the major factors that has affected so many Gambians, especially the youth that have passion for education, not only education, but also for skill work and other ways in which they can upgrade themselves.
Right. Yeah, that's well said. Because, as a young person, that's where everything starts for you. That's where you dream, to achieve whatever you want to achieve in life. So the beginning of everything is very important. If you don't have the means, if you don't have the financial assistance to be able to, finance whatever, be it like a career, be it anything, education is definitely going to affect somebody at that age. Do you believe these financial constraints that you mentioned, or this hardship, or whatever you mentioned, have a psychological impact on the youth of the Gambia, including yourself?
Yeah, it affects them because there was a time that I personally, I was really affected psychologically because some of the students that I started university with moving to their third year, moving to my second year. So when I look at that, I definitely feel bad for the fact that I have to lose a whole year trying to secure funds, even though I got promises from different areas, different institutions. At the end of the day, it turns out to be futile. So that affects my psychological being. So I feel like I'm in a country whereby people are not willing to help their youths in order to excel in life. Considering the situation that we are in as a nation, I believe one of the fundamental issues that we should rely on in order to upgrade ourselves is through education. When we say education, it doesn't only have to stop within the four corners of the classroom, but even some skill works, even some current topics like entrepreneurship and others are all ways in which people can learn in order to move themselves to the next level. So if people are not given that privilege or people don't have that access, it will automatically affect their psychological being. And that all leads us to embark on this unlawful journey, buggery and others, because they have no means. Others, the way they even get money, they have to steal it in order to push themselves to the next level. So all those are issues that affect people psychologically.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. Because it does affect people psychologically. You mentioned there, you try to apply for scholarships, and then all the, your mates or your peers who you in the same class with or in the same school with, you see them progressing, you see them advancing.
Yeah.
It's definitely gonna affect you, psychologically. You're gonna think a lot. So that's why most youth in the Gambia presently, we've been seeing so many problems like crime rate is skyrocketing because of youth. They don't have nothing to do. They don't have
Exactly.
It's not bright.
Yeah.
They're not seeing their life being better in the future. So it's gonna force them to do certain things that's gonna not only affect them but affect the whole society. We've seen people, like young people
As a whole, exactly.
Yeah, growing up in the Gambia, I didn't know that. Like, we don't used to have these kind of things happening. At least, things were better. It wasn't like this, the way it's happening. You mentioned another thing, which is very important for people to help each other. I believe that you said it when you describing the people of the Gambia. You said people of the Gambia like to help each other. I think we need to focus. We need to, revive that back. If we are losing it, we need to help each other. You need to help your neighbor. You need to, know what your neighbor is going through, whether the kids are going to school, because no kid deserves to drop out of school because of financial constraints. That's why EPF created this, to help these underprivileged youth or kids who are aspiring to be something, not only conventional, but even for vocational. You mentioned it. We need that. We need vocational trainings. We need people to be self-employed, cannot do it all. Seeing how our country is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there was also when Ousman mentioned that about the environment, that it's very important to have a conducive environment to be able to study. It's not only at school or at university, it's also when you come back home, you need to also have that support at home and that environment at home to study. And eventually that all forms part of it, will obviously affect your psychological impact, mental state, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said if the environment is not suitable, it becomes difficult, because I told you previously that every Gambians live from hand to mouth. So a father that is thinking of how to feed the family, you come home expecting that individual to pay your school fee, is gonna be another problem on him. And if he's out back on you, that's going to affect your psychological being.
Yeah, totally. I understand that. And these challenges that you've explained, what inspires you to get through all these challenges?
Well, I have a great passion for education, and I definitely want to contribute a lot towards the development of my country. And in doing that, I believe one of the ways in which I can also be productive to my country is through education. Everybody has a passion for something.
Yeah, so you were discussing some of the challenges that you faced as a young person in the Gambia. So what inspires you to get through these challenges?
The reason that inspired me to go through these challenges is because of my passion for education and my passion for self-development as well. Because I believe before one contributes to your country's development, you just have to upgrade your own self first. So I have a great passion to uplift my own self and my career, so as to be an exemplary leader or exemplary role model to others as well. And that can only come when I'm ready to face challenges, because I believe tomorrow others might look up to me as a role model. So if I fail to accept challenges right now, it might be difficult for me to inspire others.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that, because in order to help people, especially, this project, in order to help someone, they need to show us that, they're willing to do this. They're willing to take their journey to the next level. Anybody, if you want to help somebody, you want to see them willing to help themselves. So that's important as a youth. Most of youth in the Gambia need to pay attention to these things. If someone wants to help you, you definitely want to step up and then do the right thing. Show them that you want to be better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you mentioned in the beginning that you dreamt of studying international relations, but you found out that Gambian, the university in the Gambia is not offering that. So, what's your dream? What do you want to become? What do you want to study?
Yeah, with regards to international relations, you can only find it, do it as a component when you are studying political science. So hence I have a passion for it, and I decided to go and study at MBI before proceeding to the university. And one thing is important to note is before I even completed senior school, my wish was never to go to the university without going to other tertiary institutions first. So my wish was to make sure that I passed through some tertiary education sectors before moving to the university, which is the highest level of knowledge. Right. So if upon completion of that was the time I decided to pursue, go into the university in order to pursue my degree in development studies. What I actually wanted to be is I want to be a development-oriented individual, in the sense that when I grow up and completed my studies, I want to be a development manager.
Wow. So development manager. So can you explain how important human capital, to invest in human capital, is for people, places like Gambia, a third world country?
Yeah, human capital is very, very important, because if you look at the liquidity, which is money, it doesn't do everything. So in that essence, I believe human capital is a very fundamental key player when it comes to national development. Because looking at it, if people are empowered, if people excel in life, it becomes very, very easy for them to develop their country, because already the human resource is there, the human capital is there, and the human willingness also is there in order to upgrade the life and livelihood of the people. So if that fails to be empowered, it becomes difficult for a nation to grow. Let's take an example of Rwanda. Rwanda, or maybe Rwanda, maybe China and other countries might be too far to copy from. But if you look at the case of Rwanda and other African countries like Tanzania, they empower their human labor, they empower their human capital. So when that empowerment was done, it becomes very, very easy for citizens to take up responsibilities. Responsibilities in the sense that they took the bull by the horn by making sure that they try to upgrade themselves. And how are they going to do this? Is to be willing to make a king, or to be part of the king, to be agents of king. So empowering human capital becomes an essential aspect of human development.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that's very right that you said that countries like that, they provide that support to their citizens. So you would only know that opportunity, giving the youth that opportunity for them to be able to study and move further. That's the only way we would actually know that, there are opportunities in the future. Otherwise, we would never know. It's only once you tried, then you would know.
Yeah.
So I think that's very
exactly
important.
Because if you take an example of China in 40 or 50 years back, China was at zero. But how do they empower themselves, and how were they able to reach the stage that they are now? They had to close their borders, work within themselves, empower their youths, empower the youthful population, so that they can at least be agents of change tomorrow. Look at China now; it is one of the world's fastest growing economy in the world. China produces everything that people are consuming today. So that is all based on human empowerment.
Yeah. That's very true. And why do you think that so many young adults drop out of school?
One of the reasons why students or youth drop out of school, one, because of financial problem. Two, because of the choice of education that is provided for them. Thirdly, is because of the environment in which they live. I believe these three things are very, very important, or they are factors that lead to students or youth dropping out of school. One, financial issue is very, very important. Without funds, you might not be able to study, you might not be able to go through education. Secondly, the choice of education system provided for them. Others want to be musicians, others want to be entrepreneurs, others want to be skill workers. So if you want to push those people into school, they might find it very, very disturbing to be within the four corners of the classroom. That is why previously I told you that if we have career development topics like entrepreneurship, carpentry, welding, and others, it will help on music as well. It will help youths who are interested in music to focus on music. It will help students, youths that are interested in education to focus on education, and it will also help youths that are interested in skill work and entrepreneurship to focus on that. So the number of years that we spend from elementary school to senior secondary school, if that has been utilized on a single career, we'll be able to develop as a country, because at that, before they reach university, they will already have developed a career and a passion for something that they want it to be. So hence these things are not in place. It becomes very, very easy for students to drop out of school because their choices are not given to them. What they want is not provided for them. Rather, they are forced by a system to be confined within the four corners of a classroom, which doesn't actually go through with them.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Like you say that for what you just said, that the skills, building on the skills, it's not only learning within the four walls of the classroom, but it's also the skills, like you said, music, carpentry, and things like that. Those are not, yes, you can learn it in a classroom, but those are not skills that you necessarily need to sit and study, things like that. Like you said, there's skills. So even when you leave school 10, 20 years down the line, you can still have those skills in your tool bag, so to say. So I think that's what's important. Also, we're not only investing in theoretical skills and theoretical knowledge, but also in skills on the side. And that, I feel like, all together is what builds a better future for people.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in your opinion, Ousman, how do you think that access to quality education can help, can impact the growth of the young people of the Gambia?
Yeah, access to education will not only impact positively on the growth of youths and the country itself, but rather it will also prepare students and youths for the real world, to face the real world. Because I believe education is one important thing that prepares students' mind. It doesn't only prepare their mind, but it prepares their physical being in order to face the world. So if education is being empowered in a country, youths are being empowered through education, it will make it very, very easy for them to positively impact in their various communities.
Okay. In your opinion, why do you think so many Gambian youth embark on the irregular migration route? And what do you think we can do to reduce that number?
One of the reasons, some of the reasons why youths embark on this illegal migration called backway is because the environment in which they live doesn't provide that sense of belongings for them. The environment in which they live doesn't provide job opportunities for them. And also the environment is not suitable for livelihood. And the environment is also not suitable for people to upgrade themselves. These are some of the reasons why youths are embarking on illegal migration. That is why, according to Professor Lumumba, he said, if you hear a young man saying he'd rather die at sea than to remain at home, it means there's something that is very, very inhuman at home. Human nature is self-preservation. Everybody wants to preserve themselves. But the reason why they're embarking on this illegal migration is because they believe that the country in which they are from doesn't provide life for them. So it's important they move to other parts of the world which provide life for them so that they can improve their livelihood, upgrade themselves, and help their family. Well, some of the ways in we can reduce this illegal migration is to provide job opportunities, creation of job opportunities for the youth, creation of skill works for youths that are interested in skill work, and also lucrative salaries allocated for jobs that we have in the Gambia here. Because if you look at the average Gambians live from hand to mouth, most of the time the basic salary will be $4,000, $3,000, and the price of commodities of goods are very, very expensive. A bag of rice, $1,200, $1,300. So imagine you are renting and you are earning $5,000. You pay your rent $2,000. You buy a bag of rice. You have kids to sponsor at school. At the end of the day, what are you going to be left with? It's going to be a zero. You're going to start fresh again. So at the end of the day, you'll be living from hand to mouth. You will not have anything to save for the family. You will not have anything to save for generations to come. But one of the ways in which we can remove this is to make sure that we empower local industries. How do we empower local industries? Is to make sure that whatever we produce within the country here is maintained here. And whatever we produce in the country here is not important into the country here. And we create career development topics for youths that are interested in entrepreneurship, youths that are interested in music. We create music schools for them. Youths that are interested in school, we try to empower them and sponsor them through their education so that they can be able to be exemplary to others as well. So, but if these things are not done, it will always increase the number of youths that will be embarking on this illegal migration. No one feels to risk their life in this Mediterranean Sea in order to file a greener pasture. If there are conditions that are available at home, they would rather stay at home and upgrade themselves. But the condition at home is not favorable. That is why they choose to take that path.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is very important.
That's true.
Yeah, that's important. Like they said, any country that's embarked on, importing stuff, it's going to be hard for that country to develop. So we need to be able to produce, especially when it comes to food, we need to be able to produce that, so we can have food sufficient. That's important.
Yeah, sure, because if you look at the West, if you look at America, England, and other countries, it doesn't mean that they have better resources than Africa. No, it is because they empower their youth. That is why. How many musicians are impacting positively on the life of their people? But within the African context here, look at the situation. They are quite different. Those people that are engaged in music, they're gonna even help themselves to facilitate some of their errands, not to talk of helping someone else. So I believe if there are conditions necessary at home, people will be able to stay there and update themselves.
Right. Yeah. But have you ever thought about that? Thought about going to the back way?
No, it has never crossed my mind. It has never crossed my mind.
Okay. So because
I believe that I can make it here in the Gambia.
Nice. What do you think about EPF? You said all of this, this foundation. What do you think about Charity Foundation, our course?
Well, I heard about your foundation through a friend who introduced it to me. Because we were all one time going through some financial issues, and he told me about this foundation that their goal and their aim is to help less privileged people. Then when the issue was brought to my notice, I told him that I would love to have contracts with them so that they can also help me, because I believe if they had wanted to do this for themselves, they would not even bother to do it, because at least they have achieved what they really want. And the reason why they are embarking on this is also to help the less privileged people, in order for those people also to achieve their goals in life. So I was very, very motivated seeing young people, especially from Africa, coming with such initiative to go back to their society, to go back to their continent, that is Africa, to provide means in which they can help less privileged students. This really motivates me a lot, and I believe and I pray one day I can also be in the same situation like you, where I can create means and ways in which I can also be contributing positively towards the life of others.
You will, brother.
Yes, you will, definitely, you will.
Thank you so much. And that is very important, there's so many ways to give back, but for us to give back is to help someone educate himself, have achieved, his career in education. Because with education, you can achieve in life. It's going to open your mind, it's going to pave ways to, it's going to make you access, areas that you never thought of. So it's important, to give back to us, us, at least that's what we think, is the best way to give back. So anybody, if you can give back anyhow, you think you are able to. Yeah. I think it's important to give back to any community. It doesn't have to be Africa. Anywhere you're from, it's very good to give back to the community, because at the end of the day, it's all about us.
Yeah, sure. Because that is why even some time back, the reason why I even had some arrests at the university is because a few months ago, I went on a survey to Sierra, not within the Gambia. I guess like you may know of Sierra.
Yes.
And I went to certain communities that had some basic life sustaining good. I was there. I went there. I saw my mothers. I saw my fathers. I saw my brothers, my sisters, my nephews, constantly going through a life that I never wished that there are people living through their lives there. So looking at them, they welcomed me with a lot of smile, with a lot of love, trying to provide something for me to eat, even though the food was bad. But they appreciated the fact that I ate with them, and the money that I was having, saying it so that at least you sense the way in which our brothers are living. I had to use part of the money that I was paid to provide them with food, to provide them with certain things. And you could see that love on their faces, that smiles on their faces. I came back, I opened a group chat called Feed the Poor. The purpose for creating that group chat was purposely meant to share our ideas to people that could be of help, so that I can go back to the community and help. Even though I was facing some challenges when it comes to financial issue, but I believe that I had attained some basic training in education, and I believe my brothers down there also deserve certain issues, certain treatment. So that was basically my motive, and it was so sad that it could never come to terms. But I believe when I achieve what I wanted to achieve, I will surely go back to that community and contribute immensely towards their life. That's a promise I took upon myself, and I will live to fulfill it, inshallah.
That's impressive. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. And no matter how small a scale it is, even just a little bit of help goes such a long way.
Yeah, even a smile. You never know.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
It's important, No, to me, especially when it comes to education, we need to engage these youths. We need to engage each other, to be able to, because a lot of youths are sitting on the streets in the Gambia or doing some clandestine, activities because of they are not engaged. Education is going to engage you. You're going to learn. You're going to know stuff. You're going to be hungry to know stuff. You have what it takes to, to follow that dream. So yeah, that's why, it's important to us, to support people who are willing, who are aspiring to be something in the future through education. Yeah, thank you so much, Ousman, for speaking with us today. extremely valuable insights. This has been an extremely fruitful conversation. Thank you so much for making this time. You've been working so hard to connect with us, to have this conversation with us. We appreciate you. People like you need to be supported. We want to see you go further. We want to see you achieve your goals, through education. We want to see you. You mentioned you have a heart to help other people. We want you also to be in a position where you'll be able to help other Gambians, other people around the world, not only Africa or Gambia, but anybody you can help. You are able to do that. Thank you, and thank you again for talking to us.
Thank you so much. It's really a pleasure, Alagi, and Nabila too.
Yeah. And thank you also to our audience for watching today's conversation. We hope that you enjoyed it. There will be many more videos to come, so stay tuned. And also don't forget to donate to this cause. You can donate through our GoFundMe page, and we really appreciate any amount that you can give, no matter how small. So lastly, also support us on social media to help us turn dreams into actions, because united we stand. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
The Educational Passport Foundation. We turn dreams into actions.